Hello, and welcome to Somos Mas, your source for normally New Mexico United and New Mexico runners. But I'm sure by now we're at day 8 of the World Cup. You know that we are doing World Cup coverage as well. So I am your host for tonight, I guess, since I started the podcast, Jacob Terrell. And with me tonight is Seth Pitoff. Seth, how you doing?
Man, I am doing. I gotta tell you, today was a fantastic day of football. Like there was a lot of fun today in those matches.
There was. It was some surprising results, some disappointing results. If you picked Canada to go through, like someone on the podcast did, at least one somebody on the podcast did, anyways. Yeah, and yeah, probably the most technically skilled match of the day with Spain Germany. I thought was very interesting to watch. Very those teams, they just play really nice football most of the time. Didn't lead to a whole lot of goals, but still. So some things that some excitement to build with on the last day of this group, which I believe is Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. Wednesday. So we've got some fun things to talk about, and we'll start off. Let's start with the biggest shocker and the 3 a.m. match that I didn't watch, thinking, "Oh, I don't need to watch this one. This is a Costa Rica team that just got destroyed 7-0 by Spain. I'm sure Japan will at least take care of business. I wasn't expecting maybe 7-0, but I was expecting Japan to take care of business, and of course." I look at my phone and it is 1-0 Costa Rica. Your early thoughts on this match, Seth?
Yeah, I mean, I've talked a lot about Costa Rica, and because about how tough of an out they are, particularly after what we've seen from them in CONCACAF. We know that they're always a tough play, and so I kind of felt like this was going to be, and I talked about it yesterday. There was a chance here that Costa Rica could potentially do something, but I truly felt like this is a match that Japan should have won.
Sure.
You look at how they played against Germany. You look at how how they came into the World Cup, and Japan had really impressed me the other day. And I just, CONCACAF, to be completely honest with you, is not as strong as the rest of the world. It just isn't. And so, you see Costa Rica going up against, the likes of, Belgium and, Germany, Japan, and Spain. Like, you don't expect Costa Rica to really make a dent in this, And to be honest, Japan looked really good for most of this match. They were
Costa Rica just sat back and said,
Yeah.
hit us.
Yeah,
Hit us.
exactly.
Hit us. And they just were like a brick wall back there, and Japan got frustrated and couldn't break them down.
Robert, of course, over in chat, Costa Rica is the only CONCACAF team with it. That is true. They absolutely are. Yet again, Costa Rica is one of these teams, like they're just an incredibly tough out. They're not going to blow anybody away. They're not going to, win a ton of matches, particularly on the world stage. I mean, they finished 4th in World Cup qualifying in CONCACAF this last round. So, it's just tough. And like you said, Costa Rica sat back. They absorbed the pressure all day long, and then, tried to play on the counter. Like we see a lot, particularly from CONCACAF nations. And, it worked for them. Japan just couldn't break them down. I mean, Costa Rica had one shot on target.
Yeah, and let's talk about that goal real quick. It comes off of poor clearance by Japan, kind of popped it up, and then Costa Rica is able to gather it, and then you see Ito for Japan try to jump forward to put the goal scorer Fuller in an offside position. He doesn't make that jump up soon enough, so Fuller gets it right at the 18-yard box in a little gap between two of the Japanese defenders, and I don't know if it gets deflected or if he just knuckled the heck out of it or what happens, but it's like the slowest shot I've ever seen in my life that has found the back of the net, other than like a Panenka or something.
Yeah, I kind of felt the same thing about Messi's goal yesterday. Like it really didn't have a
lot of pepper. No, it had movement though. Yeah. It had a lot of movement. Same with this one. It just kind of but I can't tell. I haven't seen a good enough angle to see if it comes off that Japanese defender's arm as he's trying to block it or what happens. But it gets into the top left hand corner. The Japanese goal contender gets a mitt on it, but just not enough to parry it wide. And here we are. Now we are sitting in a group that has three teams with a win. And one of those isn't Germany,
which to me is the biggest surprise of this group. I mean, Germany was hands down. Germany and Spain were hands down the favorites to come out of this group. And
I did not have both of them coming out, but yes,
I see. I don't see how you couldn't from the get go. You look at you look at Japan, obviously underdogs coming in. The upset win against Germany, and then you look at you look at Costa Rica again, CONCACAF team. CONCACAF typically doesn't play well on the world stage, and so I just don't know how you couldn't.
I didn't have Costa Rica. I'll put it that way.
Yeah,
what happened is while doing my research, listening to podcasts and stuff before the World Cup started, other podcasters and people's excitement about Japan got to me. And I just kind of went with my gut instead of my head, thinking that they can maybe do something against Spain or Germany. I think I ended up having Germany and Japan going through, which isn't impossible right now.
No.
No, actually, I take it back. It is impossible for both of those teams to go through because they play each other. No,
they don't. Yeah.
No. So it is still possible. It is possible. Not likely, but it is possible.
Highly unlikely.
Yes, highly unlikely. Let's talk about that Spain-Germany match real quick. Ended in a 1-1 draw. You see Spain take a lead in the 62nd minute, I believe it was. Morata with a beautiful finish off some nice build up there by Spain, which is par for the course with Spain. They like to pass the ball, as seen by like their 1,000 passes. Like, I'm not exaggerating. I think they had 1,000 passes in the Costa Rica game. But they like to pass the ball around. They like to build up that way, and you get Morata just streaking towards that near post, gets a foot on it and puts it in the roof of the net. Very nice goal. And you think, oh, Germany's in trouble. Like if they lose this match, they are done. They just can't. They can't win, and they can't get out of the group. And you think, man, what happened there? But they fight back. It was a fairly even match most of the match, anyways. But they fight back, and I think it's in the
83rd.
Yeah, 83rd. Fulkrug gets free in the box, contested, but is able to find the top. What was that, left corner from a fairly tight angle? He played this match over Kai Havertz,
which is an interesting call.
Is surprising, but it paid off because Havertz doesn't score that goal. Havertz is not strong enough to hold that defender off and still get a foot on it to put it in the back of the net. And I can't stand Kai Havertz, if I'm being honest. I can't stand watching him play for Chelsea. He's just freaking annoying. He reminds me, the look of his head reminds me of Ketterer. So I'm not gonna call him a penis head, but just say that it reminds me of a guy that we call penis head. So I'll leave that out there.
Yeah, I mean this match here. I mean, I said it last night. This was my match of the day. This is the one that everyone should sit down and watch. And it was the most entertaining match that I won't say the most entertaining match I've seen the entire tournament, but it is by far the most entertaining match today. And it had everything. It had goals coming back due to VAR. It had goals. We had tight offside calls. You had two of the most technically sound clubs going up against each other, and you could see just individual moments of brilliance from both clubs. And,
right.
Towards the end there, I mean, Germany was pressing. I mean, really both sides were, I mean, Spain was looking for that second goal, and then the other end, kind of opening themselves up a bit. And then Germany's pressing for that equalizer and leaving themselves open. And so like, it was just going back and forth. And it was just, you could see, Spain made some early changes. Well, at least earlier changes than what Germany did. And because they were looking for that finisher, they were looking for that kill shot, so to speak. And this was just a fantastically fun match to watch. And like I said, you can see just the technical brilliance of both these clubs on display in this. And I mean, for Germany, this isn't the desired outcome. This isn't the best outcome for them, but I mean, you have to be happy about this. If you're Germany, you pick up a point against a club that you really had no business picking up a point against today. And then for Spain, I don't necessarily see it as a bit of a letdown, because Germany's only won one match against Spain in their history. The last time they played was in 2020, and Spain kicked their asses 6-0. So, I mean, this is just a fantastically fun match. There are some guys that got call-ups this year that didn't play in the 2018 World Cup. There are guys that have been just phenomenal. And Germany is obviously behind the 8 ball going into their third match day, but I mean, this is so much fun to watch.
This is what I mean. It wasn't the best outcome for Germany, but going into this match, you have Germany losing to Japan, you have Spain putting a shellacking on Costa Rica. All that Germany could really hope for was to get a draw and live to fight another day to play Costa Rica and see what happens on that last match day of this group. And that they were able to accomplish that even after going down a goal. And it keeps their hopes alive going into Wednesday to see what happens there. But it was, I wouldn't say it was like the most entertaining match. I struggle even to say it was like the best played match of the tournament, but it definitely,
the tournament. No,
It definitely seemed like it was the highs for each team were the highest in this match than any other match. Like you had France and you had Spain in that first match, and you've had some of these other ones that they're just like, oh, this team is fantastic. They're like unbeatable. But this was the best of like a back and forth type where you see Germany put together a little spell where you're just like, damn, that's impressive. And then you see Spain put together a little spell where you're like, damn, that's impressive. And it had that high end on both sides instead of just one side dominating the match. And it wouldn't shock me. It would kind of shock me. It would kind of surprise me. But I wouldn't mind seeing this as the final. If these two teams get through, they'd be on opposite sides of the bracket. And you never know. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me once we get to those knockout rounds, if that happens, to see these teams make it to the final. But with that being said, we said it keeps Germany's chances alive. They basically have to beat Costa Rica on Wednesday, and then have Spain win. Spain beat Japan, or win by more than one goal plus a Spain and Japan draw. Yeah. So they need some help. I think Spain probably should beat Japan, but you never know. Spain, on the other hand, win or draw against Japan, they get through. Shouldn't be trouble, but hell, we've seen Argentina lose to Saudi Arabia. We've seen Japan beat Germany. We've seen Costa Rica beat Japan after that. We've seen Iran come back from a 6-2 loss to England and beat Wales 2-0. I mean, we've seen some weird results. So I'm not going to say it shouldn't happen, because technically Costa Rica shouldn't have beat Japan. We just never know. So, and Spain can actually even advance in a loss. Japan needs a win over Spain. It can also advance with a draw if Spain and Costa Rica draw. It could also advance if Germany beats Costa Rica by one goal. There's a bunch of different scenarios.
Yeah.
Basically, the simplest thing, Spain wins or draws and they're in. Japan wins and they're in. Germany wins and gets some help from Spain and they're in. And Costa Rica would need a win and a lot, I believe.
Japan draw or loss.
Okay. So we'll see. Is it Is it Spain and Germany coming out? Do they pick up the wins that they need? Because if that happens, if both of those two teams wins, that's who goes through.
At this point, I mean, I wouldn't put it past Japan and Spain to just play out to a draw, and then even with a German win, I mean, they would have to win by at least 2 goals over Costa Rica.
Not inconceivable.
No, not inconceivable. Well, I mean, yeah, not inconceivable.
I mean, we saw Spain put up 7 on them.
Yeah, that is.
And we
true.
were just talking that Germany and Spain played, like, had the highest highs in this match that they just played. So Germany technically can get to Spain's level, or at least close to it, and put up 3 on them fairly easily, I would say. But it's Costa Rica, so who the hell knows?
Yeah, after what I've seen, I think Spain's a lock, essentially, to go through. And Germany, Costa Rica, let me see. I don't know if they've ever played each other in the past. Let me look and see if there's something on here.
While you're looking that up, if Costa Rica is the CONCACAF team that makes it out of the group, after losing 7-0 to Spain,
yeah,
that would be the most CONCACAF-y thing I've ever heard of in my life.
The only time that these two have ever played was in 2006, and Germany beat Costa Rica 4-2.
So 2 goals. Now,
yeah,
that's a long time ago.
With some guys that probably aren't even playing anymore. Let me see.
Mueller was well.
Oh, your goal scorers Philip Lahm, Close, and Frings, guys who are no longer.
Yeah, they're not there now. So yeah, I mean that's.
Yeah, there's nobody playing now. Yeah, there's nobody playing for Germany that was playing back then. So
I'm gonna say it is Spain and Germany. I think they do get through. I wouldn't mind seeing Japan get through there, but
what a story that would be.
It would be the most 2022 World Cup thing I've ever heard of. Is if a team that beat a team 7-0 loses in the final day of the group, and possibly gets knocked out.
Yeah, I mean Saudi Arabia getting through, that could be an interesting story as well. But
yeah, I mean there's a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
So that was Group E. We'll see what happens there next Wednesday. We'll get to Group F now. The first match of the day in Group F was Belgium versus Morocco.
Shocker here.
I wasn't as surprised. Belgium got the win against Canada, but were clearly the worst team.
Yeah.
And Morocco didn't look bad against Croatia. I mean, they drew against Croatia in what was a pretty tight game, and they had a couple chances there. So this wasn't like Japan losing to Costa Rica. This wasn't Saudi Arabia beating Argentina.
Well, no, but it still
wasn't even like a huge shock. I mean, I wasn't surprised at all.
This is the number 2 national team in the world,
according to FIFA rankings. Though FIFA rankings are questionable to say the least. So, I mean, obviously, because Belgium has not looked like the second best team in this tournament. I don't think they've looked like the second best team in their group. I would take Morocco and Croatia against them as far as looks wise, how they've looked these last 2 games. And I might even take Canada. And Canada got whooped 4-1 today. Belgium just has not impressed me whatsoever. Yeah. And I don't think they're going to get out of this group.
Yeah, I look at this. This is, hang on. I'm going to go, while we're talking here, global club soccer. No, I don't think it's going to show. I don't think, I'm going to go look at 538, but I don't think 538 has national team rankings. I don't think they do.
I think they just have odds to win it, which are going to be based on a bunch of different things.
Yeah. Let me see. I'm just looking real quick because I've never looked to see, because typically I just focus on USL.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see anything.
So in this match, Belgium had some early chances. They did, including one in the 6th minute where Bentashore gets free and and the Moroccan goalkeeper is able to make a really nice save on it. And then it's kind of just Belgium and they or Morocco. I mean, they just kind of looked like the better club to me most of the match. They finally break through in the 73rd minute off a free kick from like a short corner area by Ziyech, which this is a guy. Hakim Ziyech was not on the national team. He's by far their best player, like head and shoulders above almost everybody else on that Morocco team, and was not in there because there was a falling out with the manager. So Morocco was like, screw this manager. We want our best player back. And then he comes in. He's been the best player in this group, I believe, through 4 matches, and scores on a free kick that oh, sorry, he didn't score. He didn't score. My bad. I'm talking out my ass right now. He did not score the free kick. He has been their best player, but he did not score the free kick. And he did get the assist on the next goal. But a free kick by number 11, I don't have his name right here, goes near post. There's a near post runner. It's kind of chaos, but it goes in off the free kick. Nobody touches it. And all of a sudden, Morocco's up 1-0. They had a chance in stoppage time in the first half, but it got called offside. That one was the Ziyech free kick that I was mistaken. And then they get the kind of silver lining, the final nail in the coffin in the 92nd minute. Kind of a breakaway. Ziyech makes a nice run, collects the ball, drives to the touchline, cuts it back to the 6-yard box. Zacharias, I believe is his first name, roofs it, and they're up 2-0. Belgium is dead in the water at that point, and Morocco now is sitting sucking in the group with playing a Canada team that's newsflash or spoiler alert already out of the tournament, and so we'll see how they come out and play on Wednesday. But it puts Morocco in a very good position, and it's leaving Belgium fighting against a Croatia team next Wednesday that looked really good today.
Yeah, they did. And so I want to correct. So 538 did actually have a ranking of the clubs prior to the tournament. I put it on our private chat there. They have Morocco as the 18th rated, 18th ranked club. Costa Rica was dead last in their rankings.
What was Belgium?
Belgium was number 10, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 11, I should say. They had a Belgium ranked 11th with a 3% chance to win the World Cup. That's pre-tournament. So
okay.
You can actually look at they have it broken down before the tournament, before the second group match, and then as of today. So yeah, it was like as of right now. So Canada and Costa Rica Canada and Qatar are eliminated. Costa Rica is still dead last in their rankings based on their predictions. So yeah, Belgium has dropped a little bit, and Morocco is now sitting ahead of Belgium in the 538 rankings. So, and the 538 is currently giving the US a 38% chance of making the round of 16. So, but yeah, no, this is again another match here. You know, Morocco's not a side that you necessarily hear a lot about on the world stage. You know, they are of course we did mention that just a few minutes ago. Belgium was ranked second in the FIFA rankings, and you know you don't expect a lot from Morocco. You know, there aren't really like big name guys. You know, yeah, there's Ziyech and some others, you know, that do stand out, but I didn't think much of them coming into this. I didn't know what to expect out of Morocco, and they've actually played pretty well. They haven't necessarily like been embarrassed by anybody. You know, they've kind of held their own, a win and a draw against, you know, Belgium and Canada, Croatia and Belgium. Yeah, Belgium. You know, Croatia's leading the group right now. So, I mean, this is going to be an interesting group. I mean, Canada is like on life support here. I mean, apparently there is mathematically a way for them to get back in, but it's like so astronomically impossible. Or so some website had it. It may have even been before that, so I could be wrong on that. But I mean, Oh yeah, never mind. I apologize. Canada's out.
I don't think they
Canada's
can.
out. So not and there's some articles that like mathematically there's some way for Canada. Like, that can't be right. It probably came out before.
Even if they win, they're on 3 points. Croatia and Morocco already have 4.
Yeah. So I mean, this final day in this group is going to be really interesting. Can Canada play spoiler here? But Morocco, I just don't know what to say. Like, I've been impressed with the way they played so far.
Yeah, me too. And I think they're getting through. I think I had it right that Belgium and Croatia, who were probably pretty clearly the favorites to get out of this group going into the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
I had one of them out and Canada in. And so I was probably right to have one of them out. And I believe I had Belgium out, which I think is probably going to happen. I just had the wrong team to usurp them. And I thought Canada had a chance, but.
So what's the issue with Belgium? I mean, Belgium is a club that has done well the past couple of World Cups, even as far back as 2014. They've played well at the world stage. Now, is it just that they're aging out? I mean, some of their stars, obviously Lukaku and Kevin De Bruyne and some other guys. I mean, I don't think Lukaku is the player he used to be. Like, I've never been a huge fan of Lukaku. I don't like the style that he plays. Right. I'm not a huge fan of Kevin De Bruyne either. Like, I think he's overrated. Is he good? Absolutely, but I think he's massively overrated. Which us in our little podcast, me saying KDB is overrated. I mean, no one's going to take that with a grain of salt. I mean, obviously he's good enough to be on the Belgian national team, but I can't explain what's going on with Belgium.
I think it's partly lack of attacking options. De Bruyne is I don't know if I'd call him overrated. I think he's probably pretty properly rated, and he's very good. He's not Mbappe. He's not Neymar. He's not. Oh gosh. But he's a good solid player, but he is a distributor. He's not a goal scorer, and they severely lack goal scoring there. Lukaku came into the tournament hurt. We finally saw him for a little bit today. He came on as a sub. And then their back line, Vertonghen and Alderweireld were Tottenham players 3 years ago. And they're not good enough to be in the Premier League now, or at least make a difference in the Premier League, because they're, I think, 36 and 34 or something like that. And they've played good up until this point, but they're not. It's kind of like the golden age of Belgium is at its sunset. I mean, it's not. They're not the team that they used to be, in a lot of reasons. But I do think, especially if they don't make it out of this group stage, we see a manager change there, and we see kind of a little bit of an overhaul the next couple of years, because they don't have, like, the reason why Vertonghen and Toby are starting back there on the back line is because they don't have anybody else that's coming up that's younger that's pushing them.
Yeah,
and so we'll just have to see, but. I don't think they make it out of this group. I think we see some changes for them. And it's not... It's sad in a way, because I know if Earl was on, he talked about really liking Belgium before. And it's just not their year this year, it seems like. I know they got to win against Canada, but they were severely outplayed. Now they got to go up against the Croatia side and need a win in order to really get... I mean, I think they can get through on a draw in some way, shape, or form, but they're currently sitting third in the group, and would need... I believe they can get through on a draw if Morocco loses and they win, and Belgium... I don't know. Maybe they can't. I haven't read that far down yet, but it's just a sad day for Belgium fans.
KDB is 31 and Lukaku is 29, by the way.
Yeah, so all of them are getting... What are Vertonghen and Toby Alderweireld? Or did you look it up?
I'm looking that up, yeah.
You don't need to. If you had it handy, that's fine. But I know they're in their mid-30s.
Vertonghen is 87, so he's 34. And then... 35. Yeah, 35, because he's April, yeah. And then Alderweireld Alderweireld is 89, so he's
33.
33. Yeah. So,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, Belgium, they are starting to age out. I mean, I was looking at KDB stats here. I mean, last season he had 19 goals and 44 appearances. This season so far, he has 3 goals and 19 appearances. I don't know. I don't pay enough attention to Man City, so I don't know where he's at in terms of fitness. Lukaku has 2 goals and 5 appearances this year.
Yeah, Lukaku has been injured essentially the whole year. So I think we've seen the best of that Belgium squad for sure. I mean, not to say if they get out of this group they can't make a little bit of noise in the knockout, because once you get to the knockout, you never know. That's the whole beauty of knockout stage is anything can kind of happen. But I'm not going to hold my breath waiting for them to make a deep run here. Any other thoughts on Morocco, Belgium?
No, not really. I mean, yeah, Belgium, they've got to step up next week. That's all there is. Yeah. They have to step up. They've got to do something.
Agreed. So we move on to Croatia versus Canada, a match that I was very much looking forward to.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the second minute, I was very excited, running around my hotel room in Amarillo. Just over a minute into the game, Tayshaun Buchanan, formerly of the MLS, and maybe USL actually, I'm not sure, puts in a really good ball into space right in front of the goal, and Alphonso Davies of the formerly of the USL and MLS, just comes on like a freight train, jumps about a mile high, heads it straight down towards the goal mouth and underneath the keeper for Croatia. And all of a sudden Canada's up 1-0, and you're thinking, oh my gosh, here we go. This is the Canada that we wanted. And then after like about 5 minutes after that, it was all Croatia. And Croatia just picked the midfield of Canada apart and said, not today, guys. You young bucks will have to wait a little bit, as Luka Modric just absolutely destroyed this Canada team and ended up being to a tune of 4-1 after a couple of Kramaric goals and just, I mean, it was sad for me. I was very sad.
So Buchanan was never in USL.
No,
according to his Wikipedia page, anyway. But
I wasn't sure. So
yeah, I mean, Canada's a super talented team. Kyle Larin, Jonathan David, Alphonso Davies, like they've got a ton of talent, and that early goal obviously put them off on the right foot. But this is the Croatia I was expecting.
Yeah,
this is the Croatia that I was looking for in match day 1. Didn't really see it there. And, you've got Kovacic, Modric, Perisic. These guys, like Croatia came out and just
all the itches.
Yeah. All the itches. They threw everything they had at the wall, and it was fantastic to see. Like the roster, the lineup changes today because Nikola Vlasic started in match day 1. Yeah, I don't know if you know who Nikola Vlasic is. This is a guy that, and I know him because Everton played against his club a couple years ago in the Europa League, I think. He played so well against Everton, they went out and signed him. They signed him from his previous club, brought him in. He didn't do crap for Everton, and
I mean, it's Everton who does.
He scored a few. I mean, he did score a few goals, but like it was nothing that like stood out. We ended up loaning him out. We signed him from Hajduk Split. We had him on the roster for 3 years, and we loaned him out for 2 of those years to CSKA Moscow. And this guy started match day 1 for Croatia for whatever reason. I don't know why. It didn't make sense to me. Now, obviously, I want to see him do well, but it just didn't work. What they were doing match day 1.
Do you know? Because you sound a little bitter. Just a little bitter.
I mean, it was just, I don't know. We signed him on a stupid deal. It was something like 12 or I think it might have been like 8 or 12 million. It was just a stupid deal. And then we loaned him out because our managerial issues and whatnot. So, oh yeah, a 5-year contract worth $10 million.
Nice.
Yeah, it was Europa League. I was correct. But yeah, no, it was like I didn't understand what Croatia is doing. They didn't look well in match day 1, but they came out this morning and they look fantastic. Like this is what I wanted to see. Like Luka Modric was on point. They played really, really well in this game. And so I was really impressed with the turnaround.
Yeah. Well, and I don't like looking back now, it's like, well, maybe Morocco is just way better than we thought.
Mhm.
And Croatia didn't play badly in group or in match day 1. They just played a better team. Not a better than them team, but a better quality team than Canada. And then to have Canada come out, and I mean, Canada looked good for like the first 10 minutes, and then they just couldn't keep up. And this is where Canada, like I look at Canada's roster, like Jonathan Osorio and a few others that are not quite to the level of playing in the top 5 European leagues, and they're kind of the ones that got picked apart today. That midfield isn't necessarily stacked with high end talent. I mean, it's got good players, but it's not top 5 European league talent, and that's where they kind of got picked apart. I think even though they didn't get a win, they're already eliminated. They still have 1 match left. I think it was a good tournament for Canada. It was good to get their feet wet. And I'm really excited about both the Canadian and USA teams for 2026 hosting this tournament and not having to worry about the stress of qualifying, and being able to come in and have all your players have experience in this World Cup, have a few more years under their belt. You can get Tayshaun and Alphonso Davies are already playing in Europe. Get them more experience, maybe get a couple other players up in Europe to get some experience against some higher level talent and do some damage in 2026. But Croatia just looked like world beaters and looked like the team that finished second in 2018. Mm-hmm. They looked really, really good. And I'm happy for that. I really like this Croatia side. I rooted for them in 2018 the whole way through, even when they played England. And so I'm really, really excited for them. Sad for Canada, but we'll see. It basically, I haven't talked a lot about it details because it was just all Croatia after that first goal, and there's just too many chances to even talk about. They score 4 goals after the, I think, 38th minute was the first goal, and I mean it was a bloodbath after that. Canada just got outplayed, and in respect for Canada, I'm not gonna relive the gory bloody details of it, but it does set up yet another interesting group. Another interesting scenario for match day 3 in this group. We've got Croatia, Morocco sitting on 4 points, Belgium sitting on 3 points. Croatia advanced with a winner or a draw. Morocco advanced with a winner or a draw. And Belgium
has to win.
It has to win, basically. It could advance with a draw if Canada beats Morocco by more than 3 goals. I don't see a 4-0 Canada win there. So basically, they need a win over Croatia, otherwise their tournament's over. And I don't see that happening with Croatia still needing to win in order to guarantee their spot. I mean, they could draw, but a draw doesn't help Belgium either way, anyways. So I think Belgium's done for, and the top 2 teams right here are the top 2 teams the 2 teams that are going to be going through in some way, shape, or form. I could see Morocco besting Croatia. Mm-hmm. If Canada just comes out flat, I could see Morocco putting a few goals on Croatia, or a few goals on Canada, and Croatia maybe getting a draw or barely skating by with a 1-0 or with a 1-goal win or something, and Morocco taking over the group. But we'll just have to see how that plays out. Either way, I think you want to win this group because I believe this group plays the winner of Group E that we were just talking about.
Second place in Group E.
Yeah. So if you win, you avoid Spain more than likely. which would be what you want to do. So
Yeah.
I think Croatia goes out and fights for this win against Belgium on Wednesday, and we're talking about a Croatia Morocco top 2 here, which probably surprises some people.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, on today, like the biggest thing for me today was just like it was goalkeeper play. Like the goalkeepers today were just absolutely fantastic. There were a lot of great saves, and I mean, you look specifically at the Spain Germany match, and like there were so many great plays by the goalkeepers, and even throughout the other matches, like it just on display all day long. And like today was just so much fun to sit down and watch these matches.
Agreed.
And really just dig in. I can't wait to see what happens in match day 3 with these two groups. There's obviously a lot still up in the air, so who knows?
What sticks out to me about this whole tournament, and I haven't followed the other World Cups nearly as closely as I've followed this one, but it seems like there's a crap ton of parity so far in this tournament. I mean, you look at the group standing. Group A, one team is eliminated. We only have 2 teams eliminated out of the 6 groups that have played 2 of their matches right now. Only 2 teams have been eliminated, Canada and Qatar. In Group A, you have 4 points, 4 points, 3 points as the top 3. So anybody can come out of that group still. Group B, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Anybody is still technically alive in that group. Group C, 4, 3, 3, and 1, and the 1 is Mexico. So, what the hell? And then France, Australia, Denmark, and Tunisia. France is the only team that has played 2 games and won both of their games. 6 points for France, 3 for Australia, 1 for Denmark, 1 for Tunisia. And then the two matches that are the 2 groups that we talked about today. 4 for Spain, 3 Japan, 3 Costa Rica, 1 Germany. Germany is the one with 1 point in that group. I mean, what is going on here? And then Croatia, Morocco, Belgium, 4, 4, and 3 respectively there. It doesn't seem like there's a runaway favorite right now. I mean, Brazil could maybe change that. I know Brazil in those 538 rankings that you just sent us, you put in the chat over there. Brazil has a 24% chance of winning the World Cup, which is 10% chance more than second place Spain. France is sitting at 13. Portugal, for whatever fucking reason, is at 7%. I don't get that at all. And so, I mean, it's a wide open tournament. Brazil, I don't think should be favored by that much. And so, I mean, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be crazy. We've got 4 games, of course, tomorrow starting at 3 a.m., like always, for some ungodly reason. It is Cameroon.
Because Fox has to get their time in on U.S.
Yeah. It is Cameroon, Serbia at 3 a.m. Will you be getting up at 3 a.m. to watch this match?
No, not this one. I'll watch it on replay later.
Me neither. I don't have much to say about these 2 teams. They're kind of just there. I feel like they both looked okay in their first match. Cameroon lost to Switzerland. Serbia lost to Brazil. Serbia only lost to Brazil 2-0. And I thought looked fairly good in the first bit of that match. So who knows? I do think Serbia comes out of that match. But we'll see.
One of those 2 teams could be eliminated tomorrow.
Good to know.
I mean, if one of them loses, they're out.
Right.
A draw keeps both of them technically in it, but the odds. I think the odds of either of them jumping Brazil or Switzerland,
right,
after a draw is going to be extremely tough.
Yeah. The other match in that group is the 9:00 match, Brazil, Switzerland, both coming off wins in the first group match day for that group. Brazil looks like juggernauts to an extent. I mean, they're just so deep. Neymar's going to miss this match and the next one, but I don't think that's going to hinder them too much. What it is going to do is make them way more fun to watch.
Yeah.
Because watching Neymar flop around like Solomon Asante Sr. Just drives me absolutely nuts. So I will be watching this match a little happier at 9 o'clock, knowing that he won't be flopping around. But I still think they're gonna probably take care of business against Switzerland. Again, caveat: 2022 World Cup is in Qatar, which is probably why this is all crazy, and we've had these crazy results is because it's in Qatar. Why? I mean, just the curse of Qatar, I think.
I mean, yeah, that's going to be a tough one. It really is. I mean, Switzerland's got a ton of talent. They've got a lot of guys on the club that play top level football over in the Bundesliga in particular, and a couple guys that play, in the Premier League. But
their best player probably plays in MLS.
Yeah, probably.
Which, I mean, he's old, which is why. But Shaqiri looks really good. So he looked really good in their last match, and he did not look good for the Chicago Fire this year, but he has looked good for them, for Switzerland, in the first match of this World Cup.
Yep.
So the other group next or tomorrow, starting off at 6, is South Korea, Ghana. This one, I'm low-key excited for this one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm rooting for this South Korea team. It's got probably my favorite Tottenham player there, Sung Min, and he's got the mask. I don't know if you've seen the pictures going around of him wearing the mask and all these South Korean kids wearing the mask now. I love it. It warms my heart, and he's such a good guy that it doesn't surprise me whatsoever. So I'm rooting for him. But this Ghana team was feisty against Portugal.
Mm-hmm.
And looked like a lot of fun. So I don't really know what to expect of this game. My head says South Korea should win it, but I don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah, that was gonna be interesting. Like you said, Ghana surprised a lot of people with their fight back against Portugal the other day. And I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I don't know what to expect out of this match. I mean, obviously, Son is probably the top name on that Korea Republic squad.
Mm-hmm.
And he's obviously a player. Keep your eye on him, throughout that. And it's gonna be interesting to see what happens with that one in particular. I mean, that could be telling as far as who comes out of that group in second place potentially.
Yeah, or first. I think South Korea can give Portugal trouble in the last match day. So we'll see. I didn't have Portugal advancing. I don't want Portugal to advance. So until it's official, I'm going to say that they're not going to. Robert says Ghana wins that match too athletic, which might be true. I don't know. We'll just have to see. Sometimes the best athletes do not win in soccer, and so. But it's a fun game. I'll be up for that one for sure. And I'm looking forward to it. And then the last match of the day, probably the best match of the day in most people's eyes, Portugal versus Uruguay. And I really hope Uruguay smashes Portugal here. and I think it could happen because I don't think Portugal was great against Ghana. They looked to Portugal-y and then almost coughed it up. And Uruguay, while it was a 0-0 draw with South Korea, is that right?
Yeah,
I feel like okay. I have had it didn't sound right after I said it. I was confident, and then I said it, and I was like, "Did they? I don't." Okay. They still look good. They've got talent, and so we'll see what happens there. It's going to be a fun one there, and I'm pretty excited about that one.
I'm a little bit higher on Portugal than you are.
So it's not that I don't think Portugal's good. I just don't like Portugal.
Yeah,
I don't like Ronaldo. I don't want any good things to happen to him after his little hissy fit to get out of Man United. And I just don't like how he plays. Like I just don't like anything about him. He just irks me. He's always irked me the wrong way. And the debate about him versus Messi isn't even close to me. And so it's kind of like Kobe and LeBron. I just can't stand one of them, and I don't know why it's a question over which one's better. So I just don't want him.
It's obviously LeBron.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, to be fair, obviously Portugal has some aging players. Uruguay's got some aging players as well. I mean, Luis Suarez.
Uruguay.
Yeah, that. I think these are two teams that it's probably going to be the last year that we see them. Yeah, last hurrah for both of these sides. I mean, I think Portugal is one that could come back in 2026 with a slightly younger squad.
Mm-hmm.
I certainly don't think they'll be as good as they are now. But I think they'll still be a contender to get out of the groups in 2026. But
I still don't think they're great now.
I mean, they're probably not as great as some of the other squads that we've talked about. You know, like Brazil, France. You know, I think Germany is actually better than Portugal, but we won't get to see that this year. So yeah, I think England's better than Portugal too. But
so I would have Brazil, Spain, France, Argentina, Germany, Uruguay, Croatia, England, maybe on their. I don't know. England's too flippy for me.
Yeah.
The Netherlands, maybe. So I'd have them like 10th, maybe 8th, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Not 5th, like 538 has them. Sorry, 4th,
yeah.
538 has them.
Yeah, I'd have to go back and really think about it, look at the other clubs and see who I think would be ahead. But yeah, I think you're about right. I don't think I have them top. I wouldn't have them top 5. But sorry, you brought up Messi real quick. Messi to MLS?
Yes. Seems like that is gonna happen. I mean, we've been hearing rumors of it for a long time now. You know, him and David Beckham. Beckham being Inter Miami owner, seemed like we've been hearing it basically since Inter Miami became a thing. And now it's kind of looking like it might happen next year after this European season is over, is what we're hearing. He will be coming to Inter Miami, being the highest paid MLS player ever. And I'm very curious to see what, you know, an aging Lionel Messi looks like against MLS opponents.
So just while we're talking about an aging Messi, he is still younger than me. So
yes, he is. I think he's younger than me as well. How old is he? 32?
He is 30. He's 35.
35. Okay, so he's older than me at least. But look at how much he has played. And with how he plays and how much field he covers every time he's out there, when we say aging, it's not just like when were you born and how old are you? It's how many miles do you have on your legs? How much pressure have you had basically since you were born?
Let me ask you this. So obviously Ibra came over, made a huge splash with his signing over here in MLS. Would this be bigger than Ibra? And do you think Messi is better at this point than Ibra was when he came over?
So I think it is a bigger move for casuals that Messi's coming than Ibrahimovic. As far as how they were at this point in their careers, I don't Ibrahimovic didn't really cross my radar because I wasn't a big soccer fan until he came to MLS. So I don't know what his form was like before he came here over in Europe. I will say that since he's gone back to Europe, when he plays, he's still a game changer. And see, Robert says Messi will sell more tickets.
Oh yeah, no, he absolutely
as far as the Ibrahimovic thing, which is for sure. The only thing that Ibrahimovic had going was that he went to LA to the Galaxy, which is like the biggest club that, you know, in MLS, especially at that time. And I hot take, I think Ibrahimovic might, when you look at it, have the better years in MLS than Messi. Because what Ibrahimovic offered was the size and the attitude and the goal scoring ability that, I mean, Messi has goal scoring ability, obviously. Don't get me wrong. But Ibrahimovic just had a way. And then I go back to, like, I'm an LAFC fan, and I think of LAFC was up 3-0 or 2-0 on Galaxy. Ibrahimovic's first match with Galaxy. He comes on, and then he scores one from just inside his own half to tie the game. And then he scores another one to take the lead. And he just had this presence, that physical presence that I don't think Messi necessarily has. And so it'll be interesting to see how he handles MLS opponents. I think the overwhelming thought process would be he's going to come in and just destroy because he's freaking Lionel Messi, the best soccer player ever in some people's world, and he's coming to a league that is far inferior to what he's normally playing at. But I think it might surprise people that he might struggle, and they might be like, "Well, what the hell?" And we might have to see. But I'm excited for it nonetheless.
Yeah, no, to be fair, the best player in MLS may soon be leaving Atlanta United. So, it remains to be seen if anyone can dethrone El Rey. So,
I don't even know. I don't even know where to go with that, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah.
Because I can't argue Vela, because Vela isn't the Vela that he was 2 years ago.
No.
Just like your team's player isn't the player that he was a few years ago.
No, that ACL tear and the management, like, it's just, yeah.
And so I don't even know. I mean, who was the best player in MLS this year? I don't know. He
Diego
wasn't.
Luna.
Damn it. And so we'll see. I mean, he's probably going to be. Messi will probably be. Give him some time. He'll probably be better than anybody that we've had. I just don't know if numbers are going to get there right away. But it's an interesting move. We kind of always knew about it, but now it at least seems like we have a timeline, and then it's going to be after this European League season is over, and which means I believe he'll start basically at the beginning of next season, maybe a little bit later, with Inter Miami, and we'll go from there.
Yep. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. So,
any final thoughts on today's action or tomorrow's action, or are you soccered out at this point yet? I mean, we're 4 matches a day for 8 days so far. Are you still going strong?
I'm ready, man. I'm ready. This is so much fun. We only get the World Cup once every 4 years, and we get so used to seeing soccer on Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, maybe Sunday, because that's it. We don't have the national competitions. We don't have European football. We don't have things like that to where we have matches 2, 3, 4, 5 days a week. So I think this is fantastic. I love to see it. I am missing Premier League and Bundesliga action. I do miss it. Like, I would love to go back. I want to see that. Can't wait for that to get back. But right now, we're still in the middle of seeing the best players in the world playing at the top competition.
Yeah, I mean, it's a blast. Like I mentioned earlier, I've never covered a World Cup quite like I've covered this one, and there's just so many storylines and so many players that you're like, oh, that guy's from that country. Wow, okay, that's cool. Oh, wow, these two teams are playing. Oh, let's see how this stacks up. I mean, what other competition are you gonna be able to see Costa Rica beat Japan in? I mean, it only happens 4 times a year, or 4 times, once every 4 years, like you said, and I'm not soccered out by any means. I don't have, I've got 3 kids and a pregnant wife, and our anniversary is tomorrow, and work and stuff like that I can't necessarily sit and watch, because Friday I had it. Hope my boss isn't listening, but had it all planned out. The World Cup match, the USA match started at noon. I was going to work until 1 for that last hour from 12 to 1. I was going to watch it on my phone, kind of take it easy, do some emails, do some stuff in the office, have the game on my phone in the office. And then at 1, I was going to take my lunch. I was going to take an hour-long lunch so I could watch the rest of it at the house. And then I got called to Portales because they had a storm come through that blew literally thousands of tumbleweeds into their park. So much so that it blocked the camp road in 3 spots. And basically every table where a campsite was covered in tumbleweeds to where you couldn't sit down. And then the pathway from the parking area to the pond was just jam-packed. Like you couldn't even fight your way through it. Like it was just, we pulled out a trailer full just from that thing there. So I ended up having to watch the replay of it. Basically, I caught the second half when we went and ate lunch, and that was about it. So I had to go watch the first half over again. So I haven't been able to watch, like, sit down and fully like soak in all of the matches that I've wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
But that being said, if you miss one, there's another one right around the corner. So
Oh yeah,
plenty of chances, plenty of soccer, plenty of quality soccer. I mean, it's just a blast. Every day is a new team, a new style. No matter what you like, no matter who you root for, it's a good time. So I can't wait to see what tomorrow brings. And after tomorrow, just one match day left for each group. And just means 8 more or 4 more days of group play, and then we see who advances, and that's going to be exciting. A lot to determine. Like I talked about earlier, the parity in the groups is kind of crazy to me, and other than France, nobody has clinched their spot in the knockout rounds. So I can't wait for that. I believe Earl is going to be on tomorrow. I might hop on if I can, but like I said, tomorrow's my anniversary, so probably not. And Seth, I imagine you probably will hop on, or possibly will not hop on if you're not reffing or anything like that. And so,
I actually am refereeing tomorrow night. So
okay, so it might just be Earl flying solo. And then I'll be back Wednesday. Probably all of us will be back. No, sorry, Tuesday. Probably all of us will be on Tuesday because it's a USA match, and we'll see what happens there. But Seth, if you got nothing else, then everybody, thanks for joining us. Thanks for commenting, Robert. And Earl will be here tomorrow. And until then, Somos Unidos.